But I mastered that style. It's like the 5 deadly venoms. So all he had to do was get next to a nigga like that, and he could destroy it.
Believe in that, for real. We plan to take the same strategy we use with Death Row West, mind over matter, taking all our weaknesses and making it into our strength. That all these people talk about an East Coast, West Coast war, they like the Judas was to Jesus. They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago, because we've been beat these. It's not a game.
Golden Boy Promotions joins in the Big Floyd tribute and decides to go black. But there's only one problem. What about those pesky emails? What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It's an affiliate link. It does help the channel when you guys click on that link. ESPN Plus, home of a ton of original programming. BTS, they got exclusives. They got archive of UFC and boxing fights. You don't want to miss out. Click that link. Get it as a standalone app, or you can bundle it. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one price. That's $12.99 a month. And again, it does help the channel in a phenomenal way. Another great way to help the channel is to click the Patreon link. I got some stuff I'll be shooting over there. Content. And then also YouTube channel member. That's another option if you want to just stay on this platform. Hit the join button right next to the subscribe button. Now let's get it. Now this is going to be a fun one. And I told you that this was coming. With this pandemic, that was one issue. Then you have the George Floyd situation, which became another issue. Golden Boy on their verified page have placed this. You know, they posted this, and they're doing like everyone else. And it, you know, you see the multi-colored fists from Golden Boy's official page. It says hashtag Blackout Tuesday. And you see the first comment says Oscar don't even like black people. You know, right? But I had to make this video. In the words of Roy Jones Jr., y'all must have forgot. Now, normally when it's a cause that I support, you know, like what's going on in the world right now, people are tired of it. What happened with George Floyd was unjust. It was criminal. It was cold-blooded, calculated murder, right? And normally, like I'm saying, if it was a cause that I feel near and dear to my heart, I would just be like, I'm glad that people are finally starting to see what new media and myself have been saying, and a lot of, you know, Ego's army, and I would just let him slide. But when it comes to Golden Boy, I can't. You know, I had to make this video, and y'all must have forgot. So for Golden Boy to post this, you know, no problem. Okay, Blackout Tuesday, George Floyd. But I told you guys when this started, both the pandemic and also this, you know, the riots and the protests and stuff, that a lot of companies were going to crumble and they would be forced. Now you see big companies, right? Like Netflix, HBO, they're all having to say something. They're all having to stand up, and whatever their personal beliefs are, they got to at least publicly acknowledge. If you're at this point in time, the level of outrage, they're protesting in the Netherlands, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Italy, in the UK, in America, every city, right? So now it's fashionable to stand up for what's right, something that new media has been doing from the beginning. So I find it pretty hypocritical that Golden Boy, now when it's fashionable, decides to, you know, have this Blackout Tuesday when companies are really backed against the wall. We're in a pandemic, so businesses have already lost money. There's no live sports. Certain stores are being looted and polluted and vandalized and stuff like that. Companies are losing money, FYI, AKA they're losing money. Now all of a sudden you have people, and this is exactly what I warned you guys about when it comes to old media. Old media, they are shapeshifters. Forget what they were saying 2 weeks ago. Forget what they were saying 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. Now, this is what old media does. When they finally find out the building is surrounded and they're cornered and there's no escape, now all of a sudden they don't want to have the shootout. They don't want to remember what they said. But y'all must have forgot. Egoveli is among us. So I'm going to take you right back there. Now, the Blackout Tuesday, I have no problem if you're supporting that. But how is Golden Boy responding to this and, you know, putting a multicultural, multicolored fist up, and they're the same company that never addressed the racist emails? Now, I'm not going to put too much of it because I don't want it to be picked up by the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, but I'll link it in the description. This was a Golden Boy Promotions PR director, and he had correspondence with a guy from Ring Magazine. And listen, this is the conversation that they had. Golden Boy is preparing to file a lawsuit against powerful boxing manager Al Heyman, his company, Heyman Boxing, Mutual Fund, Waddell and Reed, etc. So this is right around when that was going on. They said unfair competition laws, and they were explaining why, right? And you see, you don't even have to understand Spanish. He says, that is great. Look it, you see this word, comparing him to Adolf, right? And Golden Boy never addressed these emails. This dude in the comment section used the N-word. He compared Heyman and called him the Black Hitler, right? Golden Boy just tried to sweep this under the rug. But now all of a sudden, it's a Blackout Tuesday. And I told you this point would happen with new media. Now your company looks hypocritical because you didn't stand up for something that was real. Look it. Golden Boy emails. It says Golden Boy email revelation. Why the silence? Right. So good to see some people outside of new media and myself were talking about this. It says Golden Boy promotion, hoping the emails are going to go away. Right. Fast forward to the future. They doing a Blackout Tuesday. Look, this is Golden Boy. Now when it's you basically have no choice but to acknowledge the inequalities and things of this sort. And look, it says that they're observing it. And again, I don't have problems. I'm not trying to create division, and it just needs to be addressed, bro. This needs to be addressed. Look, Golden Boy promotion hoping to raise his email, right? Look, these articles are not allowed in trial. Right? And I talked about this. So it's just ironic. And I told you, just so you guys spot it, this is so you can see who was real and who was on. Look, Golden Boy email revelations. Why the silence? Journalist Balderas sent racist emails about Heyman to Golden Boy's PR director. Right? Golden Boy wishes to exclude 15 emails between the two of them from the trial. So this all came out in trial. Right? This is the dude. Now all of a sudden they're observing Big Floyd's day. You know, this media blackout. Look, it said he was referred to as a scumbag, I'd rather be a GGA, right? You see it? And the black, right? You see it? In a series of emails between journalist Balderas and Golden Boy's PR director, Ramiro. And that's crazy that Golden Boy never addressed this. And then now all of a sudden, fast forward to the future, this is the fist in the air and it's Blackout Tuesday. I told you this was going to get ugly. This is exactly why I told you. Y'all must have forgot. I don't forget anything. Look, I made a video March 17, 2019. I told you it's going to be nasty for old media. Right now, right here and now, it's looking like a dub. Look, Oscar was told by Errol Spence, you don't treat black fighters well, brother. Look, it's all here. You know, after Errol Spence won, he tried to jump in the mix and say, like, you know, come fight for me on Golden Boy and DAZN. Shout out to this, though. And, you know, Errol Spence, he felt the type of way. You know, I think Errol Spence, you know, in my opinion, he kind of had a chip on his shoulder. There was a lot of disrespect. He even said post-fight he felt insulted because, you know, legends and different people were his verified page. He says, at Errol Spence Jr., congratulations on your victory. If you want to make real money, let me promote your next fight on DAZN. You know, and these promoters are becoming like, I don't even know the word, like just saying stuff. But anyway, here's what Errol Spence said. You don't treat black fighters well, brother. And Errol Spence spent some time over there with Golden Boy, because Al Heyman, Golden Boy, Richard Schaefer, they used to all do business together back in the HBO days. So that's his standpoint. And it's funny, man. New media, I told you, it's funny. First of all, there's a couple things funny. For starters, it's funny that we're in the new media, we're not trying to be like nobody else. They're trying to be like us. Now, all of a sudden, people who never stood for nothing, never stood 10 toes down, never cared, never talked about these racial double standards in boxing, you know, these inequalities and things that are unfair, and these issues that people wanted to sweep under the rug and attempt that they didn't exist. You know, now all of a sudden people want to make videos about it because you have like Errol Spence talking about it and more people. And I just find that funny. Like you see this, you know, we've been talking about these issues, and I told you guys a long time ago, you know, Golden Boy, they're a good company, but De La Hoya keeps reaching out, putting these public messages out to Deontay Wilder, you know, Charlos or Errol Spence or whoever, saying, hey, come fight for Golden Boy. You'll make real money. You'll have Joshua begging, but you have to. I've posed the question time and time again. Name an African American, a black fighter that De La Hoya has right now that is a star. So it's like the proof is in the pudding. Errol Spence just fought at Jerry's World. You know, only a select few boxers can say they were the main event at AT&T Stadium, which was a beautiful stadium. I just was there, you know, less than 12 hours ago. Well, I don't know how many hours, but last night. You know. This is me in Dallas after the Spence Mikey fight, and listen to everything I just said to you and tell me it don't make sense. That was immediately, again, while I was in Dallas in my hotel room, giving y'all that new media work. And now fast forward to the future, it's George Floyd and it's Blackout Tuesday and all this stuff. And I pose the same question. So just so you guys know, in this boxing game, who's real? You have new media and you have old media. New media, we always stood for something. 10 toes down. We always represented. We always spoke on the culture, good or bad, right? But now all of a sudden, you see companies who want to jump on the bandwagon, if you will, because it's fashionable, because your sales actually depend on your response to the inequalities, the injustice, and all the things, and the racial tension and all the racial issues and profiling that's going on in the world. Now all of a sudden you see certain companies that never seemed to care before, that never seemed to put a dollar towards this, or, you know, a penny full of thoughts towards these issues. They said that I was lying. It's funny. It's funny to see. Egoveli finds this real funny, right? When I was saying this, when Errol Spence was saying this, oh, you don't treat black fighters well, brother. And then now all of a sudden it's like, oh, can't we all get along? And, oh, I support the cause. I support the movement. Listen, between the riot, looting, and the pandemic, some of y'all ain't finna be here. That's what it is. You already know what it is with me. It's up with me. I've been the same person. I've gave you the facts. I kept it real. I try to make people laugh. I entertain, but we always gave you the facts and we always stood for something. Now all of a sudden you see these roaches crawling from the cabinets or cupboards or wherever they were hiding, and they're trying to act like they're supported because they don't really have any options. So just so you guys know, new media, we always stood right there on the front lines, ground zero. It's like being at 9/11 ground zero right after the Twin Towers fell. You see what I'm saying? We were right there. Now just look for an influx of people who you have never known to represent anything. You know, they never had positive words for minority fighters, especially black fighters. Now all of a sudden, look for them on Twitter or in their articles, and they're screaming peace. It's crazy. It's crazy to see a lot of turncoats, a lot of Benedict Arnolds. But I just want to make this video so you guys know what's out there and know who's keeping it real. Because every time, each and every time, this is why I do it. This is why I'll be a martyr for what I believe in. Because at the end of the day, you got videos like this. The proof is in the pudding. You can't go back and say, like, when it's all said and done, you can't say Ego didn't represent. You can't say Ego wasn't about his people and the people. You can't say I'm not the people's champ. I must be the greatest. I shook up the world.
And it's just like, what is De La Hoya referring to, saying that Errol's just a real one, you know? He sees the games, he sees what's going on. But in my opinion, it's just, when you look at the situation, it's like now, like, you know, people like De La Hoya's and Eddie Hearns, after Al Heyman and these fighters did what they did together, you see like the ops trying to swoop in and like, hey, Gervonta, come fight on DAZN. Hey, Errol Spence, come fight on DAZN. Hey, Wilder, fight on DAZN. You know, but then they constantly talk about how Al Heyman is the cancer to boxing and the devil of boxing, and he don't want to make fights and stuff like that, but steadily trying to mimic and emulate, whether consciously or subconsciously, his game plan. Al Heyman brings fights back to network TV. Other people bring fights back to network TV. They weren't the first ones to do it. You know, they were still on pay-per-views and stuff. Now all of a sudden, since Canelo moved over to DAZN, people act like pay-per-view's dead. You know, it's insane. You know, and they don't want to give that black man Al Heyman any type of credit at all for the innovation that he's brought to boxing with Premier Boxing Champs, bringing stuff back to network. You know, getting these network deals. Al Heyman was on ESPN before Top Rank. You know, and stuff like that. And now he's trying to lure, you know, Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy and DAZN. He's like, hey, you want to make some real money? I'm pretty sure Errol Spence made some real money because that crowd was lit.
And this is my old shit. You see that?
Make him into a star. Now you're trying to jump on the bandwagon, you know, as with him, because
this is my old stuff.
Man, you don't treat black fighters well. You know, why would I go over there, basically? And again, like I said, if you can think of black fighters that are with Golden Boy that are successful, you know, like a step under than Canelo. You know, Golden Boy, we all know a lot of the fighters, I can't say all, but a lot of fighters are Hispanic or Latino fighters, you know.
Who kept it real, huh?
You know, and they seem to get the most, what's it called? Exposure. Joseph Jojo Diaz, you know, and then he loses to Gary Russell Jr. Canelo's their biggest star, and he lost to Floyd Mayweather. You get what I'm saying? And you know, the proof is in the pudding. If you hire a wedding photographer, people want to see your resume. And Golden Boy, as far as making in this current market, successful black fighters, not fights with black fighters like Canelo and Daniel Jacobs or something like that. I'm saying someone that they've molded and, you know, put in position. Like they put Daniel Jacobs in these fights. Daniel Jacobs ain't a Golden Boy fighter, you know, so I can't really think of anybody, you know, Keandre Gibson, like none of these guys are even known over there on Golden Boy. So, you know, it's kind of like a bit bandwagon trying to pull Errol Spence and Deontay Wilder. These people are making noise, you know, when Spence beat Kell Brook.
And this is my old work, man.
Errol Spence responds to Oscar De La Hoya, and he said, you don't treat black fighters well. That's his opinion. And I mean, we've seen it, like the Golden Boy racist emails. I mean, we've seen it, like the Golden Boy racist emails.
Oh my God, I knew I had it somewhere.
We've seen it, like the Golden Boy racist emails that never have been addressed, you know, just grazed over. People who were affiliated with a Golden Boy owned magazine, Ring. And then Nate Campbell, it's on YouTube. Nate Campbell says when he was signed with them, they offered him $20,000 to fight Canelo. Plus he would have had to move up several divisions to fight Canelo. So they were basically setting him up to get beat or you know, to be at a massive disadvantage, and they weren't even offering him good money. He also said in that interview that when he was at Golden Boy, he was in the bathroom and he heard people calling him the N-word. I don't know if there's truth. I wasn't there, but that's what he's saying. And that's a professional prize fighter. And, you know, I don't know why he would just have to put that stigma on Golden Boy, you know, so many years later, but that's what he said. So maybe Errol Spence is aware of these types of things, like the Ring affiliate and the Golden Boy emails, and also what Nate Campbell said and stuff like that. Plus, like I said, you look at Golden Boy's contemporary fighters. You got Ryan Garcia, Canelo, David Lemieux, Mauricio Herrera, Virgil Ortiz Jr., and Marlon Esparza. You know, I'm just trying to think of like what black fighters has he molded into any level of a star, you know, to make real money like he's saying he's gonna do to Wilder and Spence. It's almost laughable. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
And that's my old. I told you. Now, you guys, this is the fun part, because like I said, when it's all done, March 17th. So like I said, everything I said, I keep it gutter, man. I keep it real. 2019. This is well before the Big Floyd situation, and 10 toes down, your boy Ego was on the case and I was talking about it. So Egoveli rests his case. Smash the like button. Death Row East, believe in that. If you believe in God, then believe in Death Row East. Believe in Boxing Ego and New Medium. You see it. Now look for a bunch of people that are with old media that ain't never said anything about these black issues. In fact, they try to push black fighters into irrelevance and never gave them their just due. Always shitted on minority fighters in general. Definitely the black athlete and the black fighter. Now all of a sudden you expect me to hear you out and what you got to say about the Big Floyd situation and what's going on in the world. Now you want to do a media blackout. I told you at some point you was gonna need us. It's looking like that time is now. Egoveli, Death Row East. Yeah. Hey, Faith, baby. Come to Death Row. We're going to start printing our own money. It's looking like that time is right now. So you guys could believe whatever you want. I know what's cap and what's not. At the end of the day, you wasn't there. There's a lot of people, the Golden Boy email still ain't got addressed, and there was a lot of people with old media. They said I was tripping. There's no race, like Paulie Malignaggi. A lot of people have a lot of things to say right now. You know, a lot of people have a lot of things to say, but it's funny because where were you? You know, where were you when it counted? I've always been of the people. So we gonna see. It's interesting to see all the Benedict Arnolds and the people switching sides on them. But just know, New Media, we kept it a buck, and we always stay transparent with the audience, and we spoke for the people who didn't have a voice, the underdogs. That's my time. Egoveli. I ain't a killer.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.